Welcome to our first GSOD meeting. Uh, Firstly, make sure that everyone has joined the Wechaty mailing list if you haven't joined it yet. And please add your name to the attendees list so that we can proceed further. I think we should have a discussion to fix the day and time for future meetings before we proceed further. Let me show you the responses of the Google form that I shared with you. I have received 9 responses, and as we can see that Sunday has been received most votes. Is anyone uncomfortable joining meeting on this day? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Is anyone uncomfortable joining our weekly meetings on Sunday? I believe that everyone is comfortable to join meetings on Sunday, and only one person needs adjustment in the meeting time. Is he she okay if we are scheduling this meeting on Sunday at this time? Is anyone uncomfortable joining weekly meetings at this time? That is 4:30 p.m. IST and 9 p.m. China time. I believe everyone is comfortable. After that, everyone except Souvik and Shwetal have accepted the changes that I proposed in the timelines, and we will be and me, Souvik and Shwetal will be having a discussion shortly on their project. And so I guess it's now decided that we will be having bi-weekly meetings after week 3, as 77.8% people have voted for bi-weekly meetings instead of weekly meetings. Let's get back to our meeting agendas. In our weekly meetings, everyone will be supposed to give their week summaries and speak about their plans for the coming weeks in about 1 to 2 minutes. For this, let's follow the order in the attendees list. So I will start with myself. Uh, this week, I came up with a plan to synchronize timelines of different projects, which were earlier ranging between 3 to 20 weeks. I shared a survey form and planned this meeting. In the coming week, I will have a deeper look at the project proposals and improve my understanding of the projects and also publish a blog post for this meeting. I believe it's Sergeant's turn now. Is he
Yeah,
present in the
I
meeting?
I'm present. Should I say about what I have done in this week or in upcoming weeks? What I'm going to do?
Excuse me?
So should I talk about what I'm going to do in this week or what I am going to do in upcoming week?
You should talk about what are you going to do in the upcoming week.
Yeah, in the upcoming, I'm from landing page team for creating the reconstructing the WeChat landing page. So in the upcoming week, me and Arnab, who is a co-member, of the landing page team, we are going to discuss and sync with um, uh, the introduction video team, which Juan has set in our mailing list, and create the best value of proportion for our Wechaty, as well as the discussion, as well as the benefits of Wechaty. So we are going to discuss with Juan as well as and Rui for making bringing out the best value of proportion for our new users, and we are going to start implementation of this project in upcoming weeks. Thank you.
Abhishek Jaiswal, are you there?
Yeah, hello everyone. I am Abhishek Jaiswal and I am from the How to Guide section along with Vasi Shod. Since we have planned like this week, we have been going through what the Yuhan have given us the link, like what nobody tells about the documentation part and the documentation system guide website, which was the devio.com, which we have been getting familiar with how to start with the How to Guide section. And in the upcoming weeks, we will be having the community bonding and we will getting more familiar with the project of Wechaty, and we will be making some blueprint for carrying out the complete project. And at the end of this week, we will be making a pull request for the readme file to the GitHub, so that the future contributors after this program may get help to how to contribute to this section. This was all from our side for this week agenda.
Simon, are you there? Simon?
Are you calling me?
Yes, I am calling you.
Yes. Yes. What's your question?
You are supposed to tell us what are you going to do in the upcoming week.
In the upcoming week, in this meeting, I will discuss the document style and document scope. So later on, I'll make sure that everyone's on the same page to prevent duplicated work. So I hope that we will talk about the document scope and also how are we going to modify the overlap part for this week. So we would make sure the document so everyone's on the same page and make sure the document structure.
Great. Can everyone add their summaries in the meeting notes? So it will be handy for the future reference. Rajiv Ranjan Singh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so should I explain my proposal?
No, you are not supposed to explain your proposal. You are supposed to tell us
Okay.
what are you going to do in the upcoming week.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah, so I got to know about this project a day before only. So today I've proposed I've given my proposal to Johan. So these two projects are has not anything not been discussed earlier. So a lot of discussion has to be done to Johan, like what should be implemented. But upcoming week I will be going through gRPC and OpenAPI repository, and we'll be listing out the things which are missing. I've already listed in my proposal, but still I have to go through so that I don't miss anything. And after that, I will start with the documentation stuff. So I have to discuss with Johan, and yeah.
Great. Souvik Biswas, are you there?
Yeah, I am here. Yeah, so in the upcoming week, I will be like looking through the Vorpal tutorial page and like adding the sections or structuring it properly. And I have already added the code sandbox, but it may need some improvements. So I will also look into that. And um, like in the next week, I will mostly focus on the Vorpal tutorial page, and I will also sync with like Swetal in like what she will be doing in the upcoming week. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Swami Vardhan, are you there?
Yeah. So for the upcoming week, we will be going through the overview of the references section. We went through some ways that we can put the overview section, and we like one of those pages, and we will be implementing that in the overview section, me and Sweta. That's it.
Shraddha, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. So this week, actually, I went through the video shared by Juan on YouTube about the documentation. And in the upcoming week, as Saumi said, we'll just go through different websites and see their references page and choose the right structure for the references page and try to implement it here. And that's it.
We are following the order in the attendees list. So it's Svetal Sony next.
Yeah, hello. So as told by Souvik Viswas, we'll be working on the Warple section. He had already added this, but I found out like it was not working with Windows, so I'll be working on that.
Okay, great. We are actually following the order in the attendees list. So it's Chris Estapa. Chris, are you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Yes, you
Hello.
are. Yes, you
Yeah.
are. Chris, you are not audible.
Hello.
Yes, you are
I'm
audible.
still here. Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
Yes, Chris.
Yeah. So what Joseph and I will do, we will talk about the contents of the sections that we're going to write. But he already drafted the ones that, the topics that we're going to divide between ourselves. So we haven't started yet, but it is already drafted.
Okay. Vashvi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. For the upcoming week, we'll go through various how-to guides. We'll chalk out a blueprint for our project and commit the README file.
Okay.
That's it.
Arnab Saha, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So for the upcoming week, I and Sarjan will be going through the that value proposition part of the landing page, and also the video part, which as said by Juan. So we will be collaborating with the video team as well.
Okay, great. I think we have some timeline conflicts in the main project. I have already mentioned earlier why I need timelines to be synchronized. I would like others to present their view upon this. Simon, would you like to say something about this conflict?
Conflict about timeline. I think I can talk later.
Okay. Souvik and Shwetal, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so like I and Shwetal discussed about it, and we are fine to go with like diluting the work for 17 weeks as
Okay,
proposed by you.
that's great. So now the conflict is resolved, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Simon, over to you. You want to discuss about documentation structure and style.
Okay, let me share my screen. And my name is Sumin. Thank you. Yes, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about documentation. I'll be really quick just to make sure that we're on the same page. Okay, so I guess everyone have read over either the YouTube video or the website. So so all of you should have a basic knowledge about the scope in between these 4 parts. And so basically, like tutorials, it should be a lesson, a guide, a step-by-step guide, and a how-to guide. You should expect your target audience to have basic knowledge. So we're not leading them what to do, but they will find out the answer they need through this part. And the reference and explanation, I think these 2 parts are pretty self-explanatory. So I think we don't need to clear up in this section, these two sections. So let's go to tutorial part. The left part are the suggestions given by the document system, and the right part are the proposed by the tutorials writers. And I feel that there are some parts that I have questions about, and for example, that I feel that about this part of overviewing and the quick starts, there are some sort of overlap with how to guide. For example, they have also like a create a bot. So I would like to, like I have written in the email previously, I would like to ask how do you two like feel, how do you differentiate which one who should do what things, and like we're not creating duplicated projects. So I would like to hear how you feel. Hello? Can Solvik and Shweta like give me some feedback? Hello?
Hello, hello. Yeah,
Hello.
Sorry, I can hear you.
Yeah. I think quick start should be kept in the tutorial, like as I have displayed over here. Quick start has 3 sections, particularly the Git pod, Google Cloud Shell, and running locally. So these are the very basic things that the beginner user can get to know about what Wechaty does if we go through these sections, any of these sections. So yeah, that is what is expected in tutorial, not in the how-to guides. So I think it's better we keep this in tutorial section.
Okay, then that's really great. Another question I have is actually about the advanced usage part, because tutorial, like we defined previously, it's a learning guide, and you should allow newcomer to get started, and it's like a lesson. So our users will follow our agenda step by step. But for example, like I feel if for the user, if you use Docker, then you don't need to use Heroku. They're approximately like they're approximately similar, and like you don't need to do both. So like this is what I think that it should not be in like a tutorial.
Yeah, user can use anyone like Docker, Heroku, Plugin, Redux, and Warple. We have kept it under like different pages, and also in the proposed that was a structure for each page. Like we'll be having a tutorial for each of these sections. For Docker, like if a person want to do it with Docker, Then there is a separate tutorial, and the same case for others option 2. So these are actually option like separate tutorial for each of the topic.
Yeah. But for the tutorial part, I think it's like we teaching them what to do. It's not for them to select what they want to do. So I'm not sure if you feel like we really need to put all of them on, because we have to expect that our learners has no idea what to do, and they will eat whatever we feed them. But if we feed them both, it will be like they will learn two things and then consequently find out that they're duplicated. So like actually what I propose is, I agree with you that these two are like, these things are actually very important, but I feel that you could move it to, for example, to how to guide or to explanation or something. Like I want to hear like, how do you feel?
Yeah, actually, I also agree with you. Like, instead of keeping this section tutorial, we can move to how to guides. I think that will be a better structure.
But just like, I feel like just keep in mind that we are feeding our users. So tutorial is like something you just select a specific thing you think your user should use it. You don't need to teach them everything, like, or give them the choices, because they don't know what to do. They're just like very new to things. So if you think that this one is easier, just teach them one thing. So you can add a note there. Say if you use a different thing, go to another page. You can add an option, but but just like we are more like active roles, so they will receive whatever we feed them. Is it clear?
Yeah, like I think like the users with Docker and the Heroku, like these two sections, I think can be moved to the how to guide, and the remaining the plugin reduction Vorpal that can be kept here. Like we have written tutorials for them, and we think that these are not options, and they can like they are like tutorials for separate tutorials for each of them. But for the Docker and Heroku, it is like a choice between the two. So we can keep these two in the how to guide and provide a link to that in the tutorial section.
Yes, just keep tutorials simple. Like don't give your users too many options. So like keep it easier, because if you give them too many options, so they will feel like they don't know what to do, because just expect our users have zero knowledge, and we'll just feed them the easiest and the simplest ways to master Wechaty. And okay, let's go to how to guide. I really like this structure. It's really clear. And thank you, Visvid and his Sheikh. The left part is also the instruction given by the documentation system. And for example, for the same question, I'm afraid that there are some part overlap with the tutorial part, and I would like to hear Vesvid and his Sheikh's opinion.
Yeah, I guess the creator bot was the initial, which was to be kept in the tutorial point. And I really like the idea of keeping it to the tutorial section. So we will be moving this, creating a bot to the tutorial section, and then we will be adding up the two sections for the Heroku and the another one. We will be adding up the.
Yeah, we hope that the how to guide, it's not, we're not teaching them to do things. We will like, each section could be separated. You don't have to be like coherent, but we're more, this part is more like waiting for them to select us. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are basically like, this is like waiting. So every topic could be independent. Just add as many things as you think that the users might come up with. So I'm actually thinking we could add a topic called like FAQ. We could ask one what kind of questions that our users ask the most, and we could created in here, because this one is more like user oriented.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah, we can. Okay.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, it's just my opinion. So if you have some opposition, you can tell me.
Like from where did we get the stats for the data? What the user are asking? Like what are the questions they might expect from this how to guide section? Like we have to think upon that, I guess.
Yeah. So I just feel like this is really great, but I'm just afraid that this might, because some parts are pretty simple, so it might be added in the tutorial part. So we could expect our users in how to guide are more experienced, and they are finding they already complete the tutorial and they are looking for more to learn, and they are looking for like they came up with some questions or some technical issues, and we are there to help them to learn more and solve their issues, solve their problems.
Yeah. Yeah. They have the.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, and we'll go to the next part. I really like this one, the reference part, just the similar question, because this part is actually really simple. So I guess many projects have covered it. Just talk to the previous two projects, the how to guide and tutorials. Just make sure that you are not doing the same thing. Okay. I am asking Shadhar and Somi, can you give me some feedback? Hello? Hello? Hello, did I pronounce your name incorrectly? I'm looking for these two people.
Hey, Simon, can you add summary of what you just said in the notes?
Yeah, okay.
Topic overlap. Summary of what you just said in the topic overlap section.
Okay, I will add it later, but I would just want to make sure that this part is not overlap with the previous two projects. Okay. I'm asking you two to have a talk with these two people and these two to make sure that this part is not overlapping with them. I am fine if you want to add this part. I'm totally okay, but just make sure that you're not doing duplicated work. And I'll add it to the notes. Okay?
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
yes. So like our part will contain only like one line definitions and very less text. The most part will be there in how to guides and the other part.
Yeah. This is more like a Wikipedia, like glossary. So if you can add a link, for example, like if you want to know more, you can refer to this page, and it's more like just explaining. Just I just want to tell you that to make sure that you are not duplicated with them. Okay, I got your point.
Yeah.
I got what you mean. Okay, yeah. And the explanation part, I really like this project. So fantastic, Joseph and Chris. I really like this. This is very self-explanatory, and I have nothing to add. Nothing came up in my mind right now. So if other people have some opinions about the structure or might afraid that they might have some overlap, you could talk to Chris and Joseph, but I'm not sure right now, so you can do it later. Or if you two, Joseph or Chris, if you have any comments to add, you could say right now.
Yes, hi everybody. I hope you can hear me. This is Joseph.
Okay, great.
Hi Simon, can you hear me?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah,
I have
yeah, yeah.
this. Yeah, okay. From what I've observed, it seems our content is also slightly developing, especially about getting started with Wechaty. I've seen another group working on Gitpod, Google Cloud Cell, local development environment. I think that area is also developing, but we need to talk to each other and find out where it should
Oh, yeah,
land.
yeah, yeah. For this part, the local part. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is have some overlap with here. Yeah, you could talk to Sovik and Shweta. I am not sure. Maybe you could focus on different part because tutorial is more like a teaching guide, and the explanation is more like the background explaining. So maybe you could dive into different session, different parts, or different points of view. I'm totally okay if you want to document the same thing. Just make sure that you two teams are not doing a similar things.
Okay, thank you. You sound sorted out.
Okay, and before we move on, I have last but not least some parts to share with you. This is when you're about to document. I just want to make sure that everyone's follow the guide. I know all of you are very experienced and have a lot of experience in doing technical writing, but we are writing as a team, so we want our styles, our syntax to be consistent. So this year we are following Google documentation style guide. So before you start, just make sure that everything is you will follow everything in here. Can you see my slide, the website? Okay, just before you do, just quickly look over this part, and everything is defined very detailed. So for example, like sentence case, number list, they're very, very minor things, but if all of our documents use different kind of styles, that looks very inconsistent. So I hope that before you start, you could take a look into this part and find out what kind of things you have to follow. Okay, and later on, don't forget the descriptions. When we are documenting things, please remember that we have to define what this is. You have to explain it first, and also explain like how can we benefit from this. For example, in this part, I know it's a draft, but just an example. We are supposed to have some like basic background explanation, so people will know like what we are doing, what we are doing right now. Although some titles are pretty self-explanatory, but it's better if we could get some explanation. And also, yeah, like in between each sections, you could give some explanation. Descriptive words, like for example, why are we using NPM, and how can we benefit from it after we type this part? How do we expect it? How do we expect the outcome, and why do we need to use it if it's not like a must do? How can we expect what we will get after we type this comment? And also I found two very great examples for tutorials and how to guide. I think you could follow their structures as a reference so that it's easier for you to write down your tutorials or how to guide. Yeah, so for the how to guide, I found this one is really clear, so you could follow like their structure. Example, like we don't need the step one, but we could like create the first step and then some caution or prerequisites and what we will learn in here and estimated time to complete. This one is optional. and also like the first step, and then how can we do this, and some instructions, and then the code. Yeah, so I think this one is a very great example if you're documenting tutorials. I think when you're doing, you could take this format as a reference. And also for the how-to guide, I think this one is also a very great example for the structure. They're explaining different things. Yeah, like you can describe what this is and what's the purpose for this part, and then how we are going to do it, and like it's like that when they are looking for this, you can tell them how to do it. I think this one is also a very great example for the how to guide. Yeah, and that's all for does anyone have any question about the documentation style? Yeah.
I guess for the how to guide section, we have how to guide section mainly consists of a series of steps. But as you said, like it's more like a documentation, like the user coming and reading up the part. So what I think is like, can we have a series of steps about what are the steps one needs to follow, what something like that? What you just put example.
You mean?
What you just put example is like they have to read all these theories and all, and then came to the implementation part. Don't the user get bored, I guess?
I don't. Can you explain your question again? I don't really get it.
Yeah. So I was saying is just like, won't the user get bored of reading this whole theory part and then coming up to the implementation for the how to guide section?
Yeah. You mean this example or here?
Since no
example?
in that example, yeah. Since here we consist of a lot of theory, like the description part. So I guess won't the user be getting bored and then coming up to the implementation part as the code here?
Well, like you don't really need to like write very, very long. Just explain. We have better because like for example like this, they have basically zero description, so I expect that we could have at least some description about what this is or explain the topic, because although some topic is really self-explanatory, I hope that no users is like misunderstanding, so it's like very basic part explaining what this is and what we expect the outcome in. What expected outcomes when we're doing this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, this one is longer, but you don't need to write like 3 paragraphs. It's fine. It's just 1 or 2 sentences. Yeah. And does anyone have other questions? Okay, then we're good. Then I'm finished.
Hello, Simon. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about is there a time for us to talk with the SMEs? Like for example, in our part, Joseph and my part, we also need other information. Although we have an idea, but we also want to know more. How to contact the SMEs? Like, are we going to have another meeting for that, or how do we go
What
about
do you
it?
mean? What do you mean? Like, what do you want to know? Like, I don't get it. Like, if you have other questions, you could ask. You mean technical questions?
Some technical questions or other questions that may arise while we're doing the documentation.
Like if you document it and you don't know what to do, I think you could contact the Wechaty committee because they know the Wechaty system the most.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so I'm more like the document style and the document quality. So if you come up with some questions about like you are not sure how the real implementation, you are not sure like what to do next step, I think you should contact Juan for reference.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, no more questions for this part. Okay, thank you for your time, and Rahitesh, you could keep going.
Let me share my screen again. Is it visible?
Yes.
So now let's move on to the comment section. The first comment is there anyone who has not watched the talk from Danila Procida, what nobody tells you about the documentation, PyCon AU? Please put your name below if you haven't read it, and make sure you will finish watching it before our next meeting. Is there anyone who has not read the documentation system website? Please put your name below if you haven't read it, and make sure you will finish reading it before our next meeting. The third comment is there anyone who has questions about the documentation system of our docs site structure? Please let us know by leaving a comment under this question, because we should always follow the documentation system when writing our docs. Is there any question after reading our final selection blog post? Please let us know by leaving a comment under this question. GitHub Action has been down for hours. We have a typo in our blog post about the budget for the tutorial. Tutorial 4K should be tutorials 5K. This will be fixed after the GitHub Action returns to normal. Over to you, Simon. Sorry. The next question is, how does everyone prefer to do the document review? My suggestion is that the tech writers will anyways be making PRs, and Simon, you will be anyways reviewing the PRs. So I think that involving Google Docs will duplicate work of both you and the tech writers.
Well, yes, yes, I think you make sense, but just originally I was thinking using Google Docs because it's easier for us to add notes, because for PR we can only add a feedback in general. But if it's Google Docs, we could modify the sentences right over their documentation, and it's easier to point out what where I want to say, instead of like in a PR I have to write a whole paragraph and like try to describe where I am explaining. But the Google Docs, I could just put my notes right beside the sentences.
Okay, so we will be using PRs primarily to review documents. Okay, should I move on to the next question?
For like PR, it saves more time, and I could do that. I just like write it clear. I was just afraid that if I write a whole comments, and it's a little bit hard for me to describe like where my question is about, to like which part of in the documents. But if you think that it's easier, I could do it.
Yes, I believe that reviewing documentation in GitHub will be much easier than in Google Docs.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, So I am moving on to the next question. Does anyone think that we might need a mid-review week to clear up backlogs? I feel that it's totally upon the tech writers. If they want a mid-review week, they can have. I leave this discussion on Simon and tech writers.
Well, I raised this question because I browsed over your each project's timeline, and I feel like the timeline is quite intense, and I'm kind of worried that some writers might fall behind because because you don't really have time to breathe and you don't have time to do if one document has come back and forth for some long time. So I'm like asking if you think we need like a middle review week so that you could have time to browse over your previous documents and then to modify them if we have any questions raised from it.
I would like to I would like to leave this decisions upon tech writers and you.
Yeah, but if they really need it, we need to adjust their timeline right now. So I'm leaving this question and asking if any of you might need this time because when you it is okay when you submit the documents right on time, but I might have some opinions for me, and I tell you like something. I suggest that you could make some modification, and I'm afraid that this work might collapse together and make you like a lot of workload in 1 week. And I'm thinking if any of the writers think that they might need some mid-review week for this, or if you think that it's completely fine and you could always follow on time, you don't need like some time to clear up the backlog, I'm completely fine. Can anyone give me some?
That
Yeah.
we should have this mid-review week? Do you strongly suggest that we should have this mid-review week?
That the timeline would not be so intense and there is some like a breathing gap.
If you are strongly suggesting that we should have this mid-review week and tech writers don't have any objections, then I am okay with this mid-review week. But I want tech writers to participate in this discussion.
Yeah, maybe can we hear some opinions from other tech writers?
Yes, hello. I hope I don't have a background noise. Can you hear me loud and clear?
I couldn't hear you clearly. Can you say it again?
I have issues with my network. You're asking opinions about whether we should have mid-review.
Yes, because you will sure finish your documents every week and you'll pass it to me and I will review and I might have some feedbacks and will ask you to do some modification. So for the second week, you will have the modification from the first week and also your second week's workload. And I was afraid that it might, for some people, might be like too stressed because this is like one work, you originally work on the second week and you also have something from the previous week. So I am asking if any of writers think that we should have a more relaxed schedule, so that there might be some like a week without this week's duty, so that we can clear up the backlogs beforehand.
Personally, I think it is necessary to have a mid-review week, because if I know that somebody is going to do a review, I'm going to get focused. I think it will give people a sense of focus if we have it. But I'm also open to suggestion. For me, I'm thinking let it be there. It should be reviewed on a weekly basis so that our work is always on schedule.
Yeah, what I feel that is, if you think that if you're okay with your schedule and you don't need you won't feel so stressed, I'm completely fine if you don't need extra week to like relax. So like I want to hear like more opinions from other writers.
I think Sovik and Shwetal don't need this mid-review week because they are already diluting their timeline from 12 to 17 weeks. But tech writers working on some other projects, if they need a mid-review week, or Simon needs a mid-review week in projects to better review the documentations, then I feel then I feel that we should have this mid-review week. Chris is asking, is mid-review week like a meeting?
No, it's not. It's a mid-review week. It's just something that I hope that this week you have no new topics to write, just for clearing up your previous backlogs. I'm just like worried that I browse over your timeline, and your timeline is really great, and I'm just a little bit worried that it might be like too intense and might be very stressful for some people. So I'm asking, because for every week you have your duty to work on that week, but you also have some you also have duties from the previous week, because you will give me your documents and I will review it, and I will give you some opinions, some feedbacks, and maybe you need some time to modify the documents from last week, and also you have your new work on that week. So I was afraid that if you might need a completed like nothing to do week just for clearing up the previous backlogs, so that you won't feel so that no one will feel so stressed, and you could like more relaxable schedule. Can everyone vote for this?
I would like Simon to take final decision on this topic.
Okay, I don't see so many people need this, so I think we will just keep the original timeline. And if any of you feel so stressed about your current timeline, just tell me that we could figure out how we could do this together. So we will make no changes.
If
Thank
you
you.
strongly feel that we should have this mid-review week, we can have this. I am leaving I am leaving this decision upon you.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, I'm just like afraid that some writers might feel so stressful. But like for me, this is kind of like the same questions. I don't, because I'm not writing documents, so I'm more like reviewing. So I just wondering if writers need more time to do to modify the previous documents and also their on week workload. So if all the writers feel that they're comfortable with their timeline, so I'm fine. Just I will keep it as proposed before.
Okay, so so we are not having this mid-review week.
No.
Let's move on to the next query. In case of doubt query, which mode does the mentor prefer for the communication? For doubts query, Wechaty mailing list is preferred, and you should see the communication section of the volunteers. Each volunteer prefers different modes of communication. Any more comments or questions? Please feel free to ask questions. I believe we are done for the day. Are we done for the day?
Yes.
I would be glad if everyone may open their video so that I can take a group photo for the blog post. I believe we are done for the day. Goodbye, everyone.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Is everyone with me? Can I require, because I have talked about there are some overlaps between each project. Can I require that if you have any concerns about overlapping with other projects, can you give me a clear proposal, that a clear structure, that if the topic seems really similar, how you are going to differentiate them. For example, like in tutorial, we have some modification about overview and installing, and also about the how to guide. They also have similar parts. So if how to guide is going to delete it, please tell me, and please tell me about this part. And also there are some overlaps between explanation and the tutorials for the Google Cloud Shell or the local development environment. So if you two decided to keep these two things still in your schedule, please let me know how you are going to differentiate and how you are not going to do the duplicated work. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I hope no one's doing like double work. Okay, thank you. That's all for my side.
I believe we are done for the day. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.